Welcome to the zone, the GAR-ZONE. That stands for the Great American Rethink Zone. Rethink. Keywords, rethink. We must rethink the misinformation, the stereotyping, prejudice, and hate that exists within society. Whether it stems from religion, race, ethnicity, gender, lifestyle, or any of the other myriad of human differences. We should be able to acknowledge our differences without such hate and prejudice. We should learn to accept that they exist as various parts of the human race, the one human race on this one single planet. All of humanity shares a common origin, and all of humanity shares a common destiny. Think about that. In light of that, how should we be seeing each other? How should we be talking to each other? And more importantly, how should we be treating each other? Hatred is such a large-scale drain on human positiveness. It affects our productivity, accomplishments, and the general well-being of the human race. It affects a cohesive human society. We must rethink our priorities. Do we allow prejudice and hate to overtake our lives? Or do we spend that time being positive for ourselves and for others? Being positive is currently the forward movement for all of those who are mired in a merry-go-round of hate and dead-end negativity. Dead-end negativity. Something to think about. Ride this crest that I'm offering you, a positive humanity. It'll give you a less stressful future for yourself as well as for those around you. Think to be positive. It's not pie in the sky. We could rethink this, but I can tell you straight out, there is just too much hate. There's too much negativity, too much prejudice. It's unnecessary. We are a great country. We're a cohesive society. Do we want our society to just collapse from within? Because this might hate that, or you may hate this, or this talk about religions, ethnic groups, country of origin, skin color. That's a waste of time. Absolute waste of time. It ain't going to change. Not in my lifetime, not in your lifetime. Again, we have one planet. We have one human race. There ain't two races or three races. And on that subject, may I remind everybody, race was invented, created to have an implied inferior and superior race. But there's only one human race in reality. So kind of by accepting race, different races, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, what you do is you're allowing people to get away with hatred. That they can justify hatred. That they can justify in their mind something they can't accept. Well, guess what? There's hundreds and thousands of ethnic groups, but only one human race. Earth has, as I like to say, Earth has 1 hour, one HR, one human race. Now, what do we do with this? What we try to do is to focus our mind on the positive. Forget all the sort of differences we have. You know, the neighbor that you have next door that you don't like, I know about it because you told me that. You don't like this neighbor. You kind of hate him. Okay? You're prejudiced against him. Now think about this. The difference between that prejudice that you have for that neighbor and the prejudice that happened in 9/11 is only separated by the degree of prejudice. It's still prejudice. One's a little prejudice, one's a huge prejudice. But you know what? That difference can grow. And when that grows, that's how wars get started. Did you know that? Ah, you probably, stop it. I hate my neighbor because he's this and he's that. But how do you justify that? If you don't like him, you don't like him. That's fine. But you can't be prejudiced against him. Because the prejudice, you know what happens then? The next step after prejudice is frustration. It's frustration. It's frustration. You can't do anything about it. So that frustration leads to hate. And that hate leads to violence. And that could lead to killing. War, eventual annihilation. Us humans, one race. We have to decide. We need to coexist on this planet. If we don't, we ain't going to exist anymore. Well, you know what? I need to see tomorrow. I don't know about you, but I prefer to keep going. So, in light of that, think about it the next time. So they're in this race across the country. I believe it was Cannonball Run. And they get in this beautiful red Ferrari. And so the one sits shotgun and the other guy sits behind the wheel. And he says, wait a minute. He says, what are you doing, Larry? He gets out of the car. He goes to the one side, he rips the mirror off. He goes around to the driver's side, rips that mirror off. He gets back in the freaking car. And he says, what the heck are you doing? He says, then he looks up at the rearview mirror over by the windshield. He rips that off. And he says, what are you doing? He says, in his Italian accent, pardon me for this. It doesn't matter in a life or what's behind us. It's what's in front of us that counts.